Hello. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Summer. So in today's video, I wanted to do something a little bit more like chatty. I just wanted to chit chat with you all. Is college worth it, or was college worth it 3 years later? I graduated from UC Irvine in 2023. It is currently June 6, 2026. I think I'm almost at my exact 3-year mark in June sometime. So if you see me looking down, I do have like some notes to kind of guide me, so I'm not just like rambling too bad, but if we start talking and the wind takes us yada, that's fine. We're just gonna enjoy the journey. So to start, I guess I'll explain like where I started my college education, or like how it all started. So it started like most people, you apply for college your senior year of high school, and then from there you do your, what is it called, like your something to commit, basically. You know what I'm talking about. You pay your money, you say I'm coming to your school. So during the time, I said I was committing to Howard University. I didn't just say that. I actually did commit to Howard University in Washington, D.C. It is an HBCU, and I was ready to go. I was ready to go live my life out, like in a whole nother state away from home. Like, take me. I was ready to go. I submitted my intent to enroll. Like, I paid my price. If I can find a snippet of it, I'll include that here. Like, I had a roommate, I had a room assignment. Everything was pretty much done. I had a one-way ticket booked to Washington, D.C. Like, I was gone. But as time got closer to like moving day and all of, like, I had moving instructions for moving day. But it's crazy. But as time got closer, I think I had this overwhelming feeling of like, I can't do this. Like, or not that I can't do this, but this is a huge financial thing that I'm about to commit to. Because one, I did have a good GPA at the time. Like, I did qualify for one scholarship grant that they were offering. But my FAFSA wasn't covering much else. And tuition at the time, I believe, was 42K. So 42K times 4, do the math, that's a lot of money. And so basically everything else, like, I applied for grants and scholarships, but it still just wasn't going to be enough. I was like, ooh, my only other option would be to take out loans. And at that time, like, loans for that large amount of money seemed very, 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 very scary to me, because I understood the financial impact that loans had on people. And I was just like, I don't think that's something I want to take on right now at this age. Like, I was still 17. I didn't turn 18 until that August. So I'm just like, whoa, this is crazy. And then they had like the Parent Plus loans option, but I was like, I don't even think I could do that with my mom. Like, I wouldn't want to do that to my mom. So I was like, you know what? Okay, screw it. I'm not going to Howard anymore. Instead of getting on a flight to DC, I changed my ticket with Southwest to a round trip ticket to Hawaii. And I went on my first solo trip. I went on my first solo trip to Hawaii. And it was fun. It was scary at first. I'm like, oh my God, am I really going to do this by myself? And I did. And at the time, I stayed at this hostel, just explored Hawaii. I stayed in Oahu, Hawaii, and I was very close to Waikiki. And so I just did that, and I had a grand time there. Very grateful that I did do that, and I got to experience solo time like so young, because fear holds us back from a lot of things. So I'm glad I did it. And my mom was like, okay, cool, boom. So that happened. And when I got back, I enrolled at my local community college. At the time they were offering 2 for a year. So that's an associate's degree, completely free because you're a local resident. So I did that, and I pursued a degree in kinesiology because I had a high interest in physical therapy at the time. And I was like, this is what I want to do. So I did kinesiology for like my first year. Then in the midst of it, I switched my major to psychology. Why did I do that? One, I took like an intro to psych class, and I was like, hold on, I like this. Like, the human mind is very complex, and you know, there's beauty in those complexities. And it was very intriguing to me at that time. So I was like, sign me up. even more so than kinesiology. Like I was like, I love kinesiology. I want to be a PT. Like I'm gonna do the whole shebang. But then I also had a calculus class, and I was like, oh, I can't do the calculus. Like I was doing calculus in high school, barely passed that with a C, and I was like, this is not my strong suit. I know what works for me and what I want to be putting my brain power towards, and calculus just wasn't that. So I had a W on my transcript, blah 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 blah. Hey, it's me from the future. So while I'm editing this, I realized that I forgot that I came into college as a bio major. Biological sciences was my original major. And then that's when I had to do calculus, and then that's when I was like, I don't think I want it that bad. I don't want it that bad. Like you got it. And then I switched to kinesiology. So yeah, I just had to add that in because I'm like, why was I taking calculus for kinesiology? I was taking calculus for biology just to clear some things up. So I went bio, kinesiology, and then psychology. I switched my major 3 times. So I'm also forgetting the part like COVID did happen within my first year of university, and that was a whole process of doing kinesiology like online. The teacher didn't know how to upload the muscles to the computer. We're learning the forearm muscles and hand finger muscles on Zoom. But I passed those classes that I did take. I did. So that was a whole nother ball. But while I was in community college, I did benefit from programs like EOPS. They offered book grants, so I was able to get some of my textbooks for free, like granted, or like calculators and things like that through EOPS. And they offered counseling, advising, education planning to keep you on track. That is honestly how I stayed on track and managed to graduate within my 2 years while switching my major. They have definitely helped me stay on track. That education plan helped me stay on track, making sure that I was good to go and could transfer it within 2 years. Long story short, I graduated with an AA in psychology, and then I transferred to UC Irvine. Picked UC Irvine over Cal State Long Beach because UC Irvine was still close to home, but still away from home. I was just ready to explore and experience a little bit more, and I could do that at Irvine. At the time, I don't know if things are different now. But at the time, in the UC, they had this like thing called the Blue and Gold Scholarship, which basically meant if you kept up your GPA for however long you were there, or whatever the time, whatever it was, while you were there, if you kept up your GPA, they would cover the rest of your tuition that FAFSA didn't cover. So I was a recipient of FAFSA. I did have a Pell Grant because my EFC was really low. So I had a good amount of FAFSA, and then the Blue and Gold Scholarship came in because of my academic performance. So I basically attended school for free. And while I was there, I did have the opportunity to dorm on campus. If you're familiar with the UC Irvine campus, I stayed in Arroyo Vista, which is basically like on campus housing, but you're not technically on campus. You're like a few blocks down the street, but you're still close. So I stayed there, and that's where I met like my college core group pretty much. Like these are the people I still talk to this day. Like we're literally going on vacation in the next couple of weeks. Like these are my people. Which is really cool to think about because wow, like the dorms really brought us together and we did so much. Like so much. I'm gonna just throw some random stuff in here, but you can see like these are my people. And outside of that, we also connected with other people that are not in our core group, which is fine, but they still added to the experience. I wasn't too involved in my community college, and that was on me. Like that was really just on me. Like I was the type of student that would go to work. At the time I was working at Knott's Berry Farm, so I go to work, go to school work home, school work home, school work home. Like that was it. I wasn't really involved, which like I said, that was on me. If I can give some word of advice, I would say get involved on campus, be involved, like immerse yourself into that environment because you're not gonna be there for long. And when you're gone, babe, you're gone. I dormed, met some of my really close friends, and I also got an on campus job. I started working at the parking office. I wasn't the people giving out the tickets, I was more so the people selling the parking passes and responding to people, letting them know how they could pay their ticket. You know, I was catching heat at that place, but I loved it. Like, it worked perfectly. It allowed me to work Monday through Friday. It aligned with my school schedule, and then I had the weekends off so I could still hang out with the people, like when my peoples turn up and whatever the case may be. So that was great. I loved it. And that's me being involved in my community. I'm like, if I'm living here, I might as well get a job here, get paid, live for free. My biggest bill at the time was my car insurance. My time at UC Irvine was really, I would say overall, it was a good experience. Most of the courses I took and most of the professors I took were great. I was definitely gonna rate my professor, checking them out and making sure they aligned with what I had going on. Sometimes you didn't have a choice. You just had to take the professor because they were the only professor during that quarter. That's another thing. If you're going into the quarter system, if you don't take that class in the quarter that is offered, you're gonna have to wait a whole nother year. A whole nother year before you can do that. Because it's only offered during like spring quarter. So if you miss spring quarter this year, babe, see you next year. But other than that, like my education experience was really good. I learned so much with psych and I took away even more. Like I still utilize some of the things I learned to this day. To this day. One thing I did not do while I was on campus, I feel like could have benefited me more was attending office hours. Like you don't only attend office hours to build rapport with those professors and build connections, but you also attend office hours to gain a better understanding of any concept or subject that they went over and it's just not, clicking quite right. They can clarify, they want to clarify it. And I just didn't take advantage of that. And now that I'm thinking about master school, I'm like, dang, I shoulda, coulda, woulda. Anyway, but do that. Do take advantage of office hours. Like, even if you don't have much to talk about, just recap the lesson that they just said. Like, you made a really good point about X, Y, Z. Can you give me more examples? Can we talk about more examples? Whatever the case may be. They're literally the educated people in the field that you are pursuing to be in. Like, they have the basic foundation. Utilize them. And when I say I took away a lot from psych, some examples that I thought about was I learned how to work on my attachment style. I literally went from like an anxious, avoidant attachment style to becoming secure. That didn't happen overnight. It's a gradual process, but I learned how to do that and learned to be open with that. I gained an understanding about the DSM-5. Girl, I didn't know nothing about no DSM-5 before. But baby, I know now. I know now, and I'm not saying I'm an expert on it, but there's a lot of things in that book, and a lot more things will be added to the book, especially with the current state of the world and everything that we have going on now. So DSM-6 may be on the way sooner than later. Then I also learned about like childhood to adulthood connections and how like certain things in your childhood do affect you in adulthood, or they do trigger certain things in your adulthood, or they're connected, and how that could hurt you, but you can also benefit from it. If you acknowledge that, heal yourself, work on it, literally become a better version of you. Like, and why wouldn't you want to become a better version of you? Like, yes, it's easier said than done, but if you put that work in and do your best, like, but why not? Why not? And overall, I do think that pursuing a higher education is important, or I feel like doing anything that stimulates your brain is great. Like, stimulate your mind, learn something new, like learning something new, applying new topics or subjects to your life helps you grow. Like, having a fixed mindset doesn't get you anywhere. Like, a growth mindset is where you literally grow from the inside out. And that's really important. And I feel like college helps you do that. Like, no matter what major you pick, you could be any major, from arts to zoology. Girl, you're learning something, you're applying something. Like, it does not matter. Like, stimulate that little brain, because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. You're going to lose it. And also, I think a lot of things that people get caught up in is like the timeline. Like, not everyone finishes college in 4 years, and that's completely fine. I feel like even now, the average person may take longer than 4 years to finish college, which is totally, completely fine, because everyone's timeline is different. And at the end of the day, you're still doing it. It's still getting done. You're still getting that degree. Okay, so don't worry about that. And that applies to life as a whole. Like, we could sit here and compare ourselves to others, or like, I'm behind, I'm not doing enough because yada yada is doing XYZ, yada yada is doing XYZ. Like, stop. Yada yada is who they are. You are you. Y'all in two different ball games. two different timelines, two different lives, two different individuals. Yes, our lives parallel and we have those connections with each other, but we are not all supposed to be in the same exact place at the same exact time, doing the same exact thing every single day. Because where's the diversity in that? Where's the life? Where's the life in that? Another way that I did get involved on campus was becoming an RA. My second year, I applied to be an RA and I got it, which was really cool because I got to host events and programs for like residents and students, and I got to foster a community for them, collaborate with others. I also got free housing too. Like this time, I didn't have to share a room, even though I love my roommate. More I got paired up together because that's my girl. I was an RA within the Arroyo Vista community. We had stipends and we had meal swipes because we weren't physically on campus. Not all the RAs get that. Like if you're an RA at what is it, Middle Earth or Mesa Core, like you're not getting a stipend, but you do get meal swipes. In Arroyo Vista, you get both. But that obviously this was 3 years ago. Things changed, policies changed. But being an RA was really fun. I liked it. It was nice. And with me saying all of this, like it does sound cool, it does sound fun, it does sound good, and ooh la la la. I do have to state that college is not peaches and cream, sunshine, rainbows, and unicorns. No, like there are some things that occur, and you're like, what the heck is going on? Like, where am I? Where are you? Are we all at university? Like, what the hell is this? Like living in the dorms, people grow up different, and it's a shared space and communal spaces. It's not home. Everyone has different home training. Things can just get a little rough and some things be off. I'm not gonna lie. And I feel like that's when you have to use your best judgment and decide if a situation is best for you or not. If you want to be in that situation, like, what do I want out of this? And that is why college is what you make it. Ultimately, like, if you're just going there to party, you're gonna be with the people that just want to party. You're not looking for education. If you're looking to educate yourself and really get that degree, you'll do that. If you want a little balance, you'll dibble and dabble and you'll do that. You make it exactly what you want. If you want to be a lone wolf for however long, that is very much a possibility. And if you want to be a social butterfly while you're there, that's also a possibility. If you want to find a tight knit community, you can do that. If you want study buddies, you can do that. It is what you make it. You get out what you put in, I would say. So take that piece of advice. Everything's not peaches and cream, but there are lots of good things to take away from the college experience. So do it. I would say do it. At least try. At least try. And the thing is, like with college, you don't have to go to a 4 year to get an education or a college experience. You can go to a trade school for 2 years or an advanced program and start making your money. Like, boom. I've thought about ultrasound technician position, and that's probably like a 2 year program. They probably have accelerated programs too, but you can make that money straight out the gate. There's so many different avenues to take to get education and to get a job. Like, don't box yourself into just 4 year universities or community colleges. Like, don't. There are different avenues to take. Explore them all. Talk to people. Like, if you just want to be an electrician, go join a little trade school for electricity, and then boom, you're not, like, you don't have to go to school for engineering if you don't want to, or if it's not something that aligns. Remember what you want out of it. Like, what are you looking for? What are you seeking to gain with this? And then use that as motivation to do as you please. Okay, so now let's get into the nitty gritties of it all. Post graduation, let's talk real world shit. The fantasy life of college is done. It's over. It doesn't exist anymore. You're kicked out of your dorm. That student email, you're gonna be kicked out of if you miss an email telling you to reply to keep it. I missed it. All of my assignments gone. All of those papers and documents gone. I don't have access to that anymore. Babes, this is the real world. So, post graduation, and mind you, I did not do any internships during my college experience because I just didn't, and I was working during college, so my mind was not on internships at the time. To be quite honest, it was just not there. But post graduation, this is where shit hits the fan, because before I even graduated, I was applying to a lot of jobs related to psychology and things along the line. And I would keep track of them all on like an Excel sheet. But that got kind of sad really fast because it was a lot of rejections. And the job market is still very rough right now. I think there's a stat that there's more unemployed college graduates than basically there are more people with college degrees unemployed. They say the market is oversaturated, but people are constantly hired. Every business you go to is slow. They're not hiring nobody because they want to pay nobody. And I live in California. What is our minimum wage? Our minimum wage now, I believe it's like $17. I think I'm gonna fact check myself. So just imagine elsewhere in America. I was employed for a couple months after graduation, which is kind of like, oop, what am I gonna do? Because I need money. Like, I need a job. Like, I can't just not have no income. Like, I didn't go to school for nothing. I did not go to school to not have a job in the future. And I think a lot of people can agree. Like, we don't go to school expecting to not be able to find a fucking job. Like, bitch, I was applying to Target. I couldn't even get a job at Target. I couldn't get a job at fucking Target. Everyone was just denying me. Denying. I was like, okay, whatever. And then eventually, I landed this opportunity to volunteer at this physical therapy clinic. And, I was like, forget it. Let's do it. The place was far. It was about 30 minutes away from my house. And I had to sit in a lot of traffic. And I was only going a couple days of the week. But I was like, it's fine. It's something to get me out the house. And they were telling me, like, eventually, if I stay there long enough, the volunteer position will go from unpaid to paid. So I was like, let's just thug it out, because at the time my interest in PT had rearose, and I was like, maybe I'll do a post-bac program to pursue PT, go down that avenue. So like it'll work out. So I was going to this clinic a couple times a week. I did go from volunteer to part-time, and I was getting paid, and it wasn't a high earning position. It wasn't, and if anything, it was probably just helping me put gas back in my car ultimately. But it did help. It helped me in ways that, something's better than nothing. Yeah, something's better than nothing. I had that going on for a couple of months in the summer, and then I landed my first big girl job. And how I landed it was through a connection. And if you only take one thing away from this video, this is what I think you should take away. Foster community, talk to people, be honest with people, discuss your interests, the things you want, and the places you may want to be with other people, because you never know who or what is behind what door, or who is listening to you talk, or who is watching you, and the things that they can assist you with. Talk to people, foster community, and be people person. Like, make them connections and don't be surface level. Like, surface levelness can get you only so far, but be real. Like, what is it that you want? If you're talking to someone that's in a position where you want to be like, oh, like, how did you get here? You have the right to ask questions. They have the right to tell you yes or no, or whatever it may be, but you have the right to ask questions. Ask questions like, hey, I'm in the job market looking for this type of job. I have these type of skills. They're like, okay, noted. They'll go to their job. The job posting comes up, and they may think about you because you talked to them. You told them you were interested in these things, like connections, babe. People, we flow like the rivers. But definitely make connections, talk to people, ask questions, and be honest, because in hindsight, it is very important. Like, even the peers that you go to school with, talk to these people. Talk to them, and not just in hopes that like they one day help you out with a job. No, in hopes that you have these people in your community, like your circle. Like, you should have a diverse group of people around you, with expertise in a whole bunch of different things, because you never know how you guys can benefit from each other. Like, help each other. Community is very important. And speaking from my current position, I now see that a lot of things happen in-house. Speaking from my now almost 3 years in the corporate world, like, a lot of things could occur or happen based off the people you know. For referrals go far and wide. Babe, I was a referral. Someone referred me to my current job. It sounds so crazy because it's like you go to school and you're like, You should just take me for my skills and for what it's worth. It's like, yes, your skills are good, but who are you? What type of person are you? That's what they're looking at. Like, what type of person are you? You can look good on paper. You can look so good on paper. But who are you? What qualities do you have? How do you fit into this culture here? Like, what's your personality like? Like, are you a high achiever? Like, who are you? That's what's really pushing the forefront of the job market right now. It's not that they're just being selective, it's also about the people they know. It's like, can someone vouch for you and say that you are a good worker? Yeah, because they'll take that person's word for it. So I just encourage each person to show up as their true, authentic self, and be the best version of you, the best you can. Because, like I said, you never know. You never know who's watching or listening, or who may be around the corner waiting on you. You don't know. You don't know who's waiting on you, what's waiting on you. So be the best you are and be right within yourself and keep God first. Because without God, none of this would be possible. I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't be where I am today without Him. And that's the connection. Okay? Okay. To sum that all up, I have been in my corporate position for almost 3 years now. So I think I have not a good amount, but I have a decent amount of experience in this 9 to 5 world after college. And luckily, the place I did end up at is a very good place. It's a good place, and I'm grateful to be there because a lot has came out of it. Work-wise, I've learned so much here. And even though, like, looking at my degree in psychological science, off rip, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, that connects with commercial real estate. But then on a deeper level, you see the connections that tie those two things together. Because at the end of the day, it's just people working with people. Okay. Okay. So with that being said, I want to say, like, don't close yourself off to things that are beyond your interest. Like, if I was like, oh, I only want to do something exactly related to psychology, I wouldn't have done my PT volunteer thing. I wouldn't know about commercial real estate. I would be closed off to a lot of different things and opportunities. So, of course, keep your interest in mind, but also be open to new things, trying new things, or putting yourself in a new situation. Because you never know how that's going to rewire your brain or change your interest. So, be open, stay open, and trust God. And, when the right opportunity finds you, it will come to you with ease. When something is meant for you, I believe God will put that in your face for a reason. He will either test you or reward you, but you cannot not pray to God and expect to be rewarded. So remember that. You get in what you put in. You get in what you put in. And that's not to minimize and say, well, you didn't pray about it, so it's not going to occur. Because things take time. But just acknowledge that and keep your faith. Because I feel like the minute you give up and the minute you accept whatever is in your face at that moment, you're letting the parasites win. You're letting the devil win. You're letting him consume you. So fight and keep going. Keep going. So all in all, I will say college is worth it, because without college, I wouldn't have self-discovered the way I did. I wouldn't have learned. I wouldn't have grown. I wouldn't have traveled with my friends. I wouldn't have my friends. I wouldn't have these life experiences. I wouldn't be the version of Summer that I am today without that. So it does play a great role in my life. And it was very much worth it. If I could do it again, or if I had to do it again, I would do it again. I would. I would do it again. Because it has not only taught me so much then and shown me so much then, but to this day, I am quite literally living proof of my past. Like, my like things didn't end there. I'm literal proof right now today that things work out. Like things will be okay. And even in the future, I hope things will work out. God got me, I got God. Therefore, I can get my family, my friends, you know? Because you have to be the best version of you to be the best version of you for anybody else. Okay? Okay. You know? And even like the small things that we don't even think about for real. Without college, I wouldn't have been able to get the job I got. Even though I was referred to my job, that wouldn't have been the case if I didn't have my education, right? And granted, I'm not saying you need to have your education to get the job. It just depends on what field you're entering in, okay? Because like I said, there are many side avenues and side ways to get good jobs. Trade schools, tech schools, even no school. No school is fine too. There's avenues to get where you need to go. Get where you need to go. But without going to college, I wouldn't have taken those journeys and pathways to get to the job I'm at now. And with that job, I've been able to do so many other great things outside of that like benefit me internally. Like I get to spend time with my family, my friends, you know. Thought I saw something. Spend time with my family, my friends. I get to travel with them. I get to, pay my rent, my car note for my little princess. Like my little princess. That's Princess is the name of my car. That's my little princess. I get to have home cooked meals. There are small, minuscule things that we don't even think about that just blow over our head. I could bask in the sun. I could sit here and talk to my DJI camera. I could talk to you. I could talk to my man. I can go to the beach in the next 30 minutes. You know, I go to the gym. Like, it's just a lot of, like, everything connects to one another. I think that's just what I'm trying to emphasize here. To sum that all up, in my experience, college is worth it, but it's also what you make it. I would say immerse yourself into the environment. Take advantage of being there because college is not cheap. It's not free. You're paying, even if college is free, you're paying for it somehow. You're literally paying for it some which way, either through your time and your effort or something else. But it's what you make it. Immerse yourself. And even though you may not absorb everything that you learn in college, hold on to the things that stick to you the most because I promise you those will be the things that you carry on for a lifetime. And those are things that no one else can take away from you because you simply experienced them. Like, those are your personal experiences. That is the knowledge in your own brain. Like, no one can take that. Someone can try to take the sweater off my back, but they cannot take the things I learned in school. They can't take that away from me. Like, you physically cannot take that away from me. You know what I'm saying? So, college is what you make it. And it's not just about four-year universities, two-year community colleges. You have trade schools, vocational schools, accelerated programs. Like, higher education is important. You may take bits and pieces of it and live your life. Live your life. Don't let it consume you too much. And remember, in the end, things will work out. If you're living today, each day that you continue to live and not succumb to your own internal parasitic thoughts, you're choosing to fight and you're choosing yourself. And that's literally the best thing you can do best thing you can do for you. The best thing you can do for your family, your friends, your loved ones, whatever the case is. Show up for you first, and then you get to show up for everyone else. And things will work out. Do not sink yourself in your parasitic thoughts or ideologies, Be the best version of you. Make experiences. Experiences are what you make them. So live them to the fullest if you really can. In moderation. Don't be out here just super wild and fuck it. You can. It's your life. live your life as you please, and you'll be straight. Like, live your life, be happy, make the best choices for yourself, because remember, at the end of the day, this is your life. This is your life, and you get out of your life what you put into your life. If it's meant to you, it will come to you. And if it's meant to stay, it will stay. If it's meant to leave, it will leave. Don't force anything. And just keep your head up. Keep swimming. Keep being a smart fish. Are fish smart? I don't know, but you are. Okay, I'm done.